Shiba.
Learning gives creativity. Creativity leads to thinking. Thinking provides knowledge. Knowledge makes you great. By former President Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. A warm good afternoon to one and all present here. Yes, I would like to thank our General Secretary and Correspondent Manjit Singh Nair, a great leader, for giving us this opportunity to conduct this webinar. And I would also like to thank our Principal, Dr. Raghunathan Sir, for his encouragement. And also, I would like to thank our Dean IT and Head of MCA, MS Nirmala Ma'am. Now I call Ms. Carolyn Kalaiselvi, Head Associate Professor, Department of BCom Information System Management, to introduce the resource person for the webinar. Ma'am, please.
Thank you, Shiba. It's a great pleasure in welcoming today's resource person, Ms. Punitavati E. She is currently working as an assistant professor in Madras Christian College in the Department of Computer Applications from 2013. She has cleared NET in 2012. She has served as a member in the Board of Studies in Vocational Courses, University of Madras between February to January 2021. She has special interest in programming languages and her research area is cloud computing. We welcome you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
No, thank you, ma'am. Knowledge is like a garden. If it is not cultivated, it cannot be harvested. Today we have cultivator of the knowledge, Ms. Padmavati, Assistant Professor of Department of BCom Computer Application of Madras Christian College. She is going to introduce about, say few words about data analysis with data science. Ma'am, please.
Thank you, ma'am. Can I share the screen, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am.
Hope it is visible, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
No. Okay, I'll just check. Okay. Is it visible, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So, good afternoon to everyone, and thank you for the wonderful welcoming speech. I am very delighted to be a part of this particular program. So, in this current scenario, we need to have some ideas regarding this concepts such as data analytics and data science, where we just come across a lot of data in our day-to-day life, right? So this is nothing but a basic introduction of what is analytics and what is data science. So those who knows the concept might have some confusion, isn't it? So data analytics also works with data and data science is also working with data. What is the actual process behind this? Data analytics is going to be a part of this particular program. So analytics. So what we are going to do with data analytics, right? So it's nothing but you have a set of data with you, right? For example, we can just have some example as we have a mark sheet, right? So that is a data. Each and every subject has some marks and that is a data. So what we are going to do with that particular mark sheet? We can just do various operations. We can just do various analysis, right? Whether my marks are improving or whether my marks are degrading, and this is all about data analysis. It's not about a complex technology. It's just a mean median mode. Whatever we just do in our statistics, we used to find mean, we used to find average, we used to find median. So this is all the data analytics basic pattern, right? So as the definition goes, it is nothing but examining the data sets in order to find trends and draw conclusions. We have lots of data with us, right? So what is the point of having the data with this? We need to find some conclusions, right? Why do we need to perform the conclusions? In that sense is we can just know about the data a lot. We can just predict something. right? So this is the main motto of this data analytics, right? As the name goes on, it doesn't involve any complex, it does not something like a complex category we cannot just understand, nothing like that. It's just a basic thing where we'll be just finding the relationship between the data that is being present with us, right? One thing is we have a structured data, we have a very well accurate data, right? The operations that are being performed in that particular data is referred as data analytics, right? So you have a data and you're going to perform some operations with that particular thing. That is what data analytics, and it's nothing but a process of examining the data sets in order to find trends and draw conclusions from that particular data. What we are going to find out, what we are going to draw a conclusion, what you're going to understand. So that is what it's mean by data analytics. Apart from the statistical methods or the mathematical things, it also applies the algorithmic concepts, right? The advanced processes will be just deriving some conclusions, and based on that we'll be just applying some algorithms, and then how to deploy. That is all with the upper concepts of this data analytics, right? So this is what data analytics is. So what is the need for data analytics? I have a data, why should I go for data analytics? In a sense, as I've already told, if you just perform some sort of analysis, we can just know a lot about the data. What is it? What does the data tell? How do we going to improvise the thing? What is the, for example, as I given an example, you have a mark sheet, right? I have my 6 semesters mark sheet or a 4 semester mark sheets. What do you understand from the data? Whether from first semester to the fourth semester, either we will be increased in the marks or either we will be degrading ourselves, right? So how do we are going to predict it? So that is what it deals about, this data analytics, right? So it helps you to get grips with that past marks, and then it will figure out how we are going to handle and how we are going to press it in a correct direction. So this is all about this data analytics. And then in sort of students, okay, it's better to analyze the mark sheets, right? How, where it is very much it is useful in the senses in the companies, right? So how do they just, for example, they are going to have something like a sales company, something related with the sales or the manufacturing part or something like that. So they need to gather all the data that are related with the products and the customers, so that they cannot monitor each and everything, isn't it? Based on the performance of the previous month, they'll try to know whether they have succeeded in the profit or the loss part, right? So that is all about the data. So this is mainly useful in the company's part, where they'll just focus on this particular customers or campaigns or any other sales marketing department, right? It can help companies better understand the customers, evaluate their ad campaigns, personalize content, create content strategies, and develop products. So why do we need to go for the customers? Why do we need to understand the customer? Once we just try to know about the customer, we can just try to know their preferences in the product side, right? So that might increase my marketing. So this is all about the data analytics. So data analytics plays a major role in determining the strategy of the product, right? For example, if they prefer some product, right, I cannot just fix my product static. I cannot just compromise, right? So I need to just make some modification in such a way that the customer prefers my product too. So this is the main motto of this data analytics. So you can just gather a lot of data about the customers. There, for example, we used to have this online shopping site, right? So I'll be just doing some online shopping and then I'll be just closing it. Whenever I just go for a Google, sometimes you would have seen that a recommendation usually appears, right? So it can be from the same shopping site or any other shopping site related products to my recent purchase. So this is, all these things are a part of data analytics, because they gather the data and then they just recommends the other products to that is related with that particular product. For example, if I'm going to purchase some detergent or any kind of liquid detergents or something like that, I'll be getting a recommendation, something related to that particular thing. Either it can be a detergent bar of the particular company or some other company's detergent liquid of some other company. So this can be a part of data analytics, right? So next one is all these things are necessary to boost the business performance, right? So that is the main motive of this data analytics concept. Next, types of data analytics. It's very interesting actually, types of data analytics, because everything is said to be normal common terms, right? So we can just we'll be just referring into the real world. Descriptive analytics, right? So what is the descriptive analytics? That is what I said, the basic analytics. What we do with our data, we used to find mean, median, mode, central tendency, standard deviation. All these things are part of this descriptive analytics. So what is the actual thing? So descriptive, all about the 4 types of analytics, they are just categorizing into past and the future. For example, I have a data, I have my marks. Okay, if I'm going to find something from my data, that is, I'm not going to just look for something else. I'm going to just work only with my data and I'm going to draw some conclusions. Then it is going to be descriptive and diagnostic. Okay, I have my mark sheet. I'm going to find something from that descriptive. I'm going to predict something and then I'm going to find a solution for that. That is what we call it as diagnostic. So I'm not deviating from my mark sheet, right? So this is what, from the history of your data, you're going to predict. That is what descriptive and diagnostic, right? So this is very easy. The complexity level is too small. It can be done by anyone, right? And the next 2 analytics, that is predictive and prescriptive. You have find out the solution. You know the reason why your marks are low. What you're going to do the next thing, or what sort of things will affect your marks in case. For example, if I got a low marks, my average will be affected. My final score will get affected. This is what we call it as a predictive analytics, right? So what is the prescriptive then? What action you're going to take out of that particular predictive analytics? You know that you have found that the marks will be, the average will be reduced at some point of time. That might result in something like you might be eliminated from some exams or a campus interview. This is what the point is, right? So what side effects are, right? You have a solution. The solution might have a side effect. That is going to be a predictive. Predictive means prediction. And then prescriptive, you have a prediction. What can be done to avoid the prediction or how to overcome the prediction? That is what you mean by prescriptive. So it's something like, it's not a current trend. It talks about the future, right? Prediction is not something we talk about the current scenario, isn't it? So it talks about the future. So prescriptive is something like you're predicting something in the future and you're going to perform the particular action for that thing which is going to happen in the future. So this part is going to be called as a future tense, right? So here the complexity level is going to get increased because we cannot guarantee for sure that everything we predict will be a correct one, isn't it? And whatever action we are going to take has to just it has to be 100% equivalent to the prediction part. So all these things are said to be uncertain. So the complexity level is too high. There, in that case only, we are just going for the algorithmic machine learning models or other techniques we were implementing in the predictive and prescriptive part. So these are the things. So there the complexity is going to be a large one. So this is what it goes. Next, descriptive analytics. As I've already told, where do we it just asks a single question. What happened actually? I'm going to get marks. This is my marks. So what happened? Out of it, what you're going to do? That is what. So it aims to uncover the insights from the data being analyzed. That is, you have something inside your data, you're going to uncover it. What is the actual thing behind your data, right? You have something hidden in your data, you're going to predict it. Sorry, it's not a predicted, you're going to find out the actual part, right? So this is what you mean by descriptive analytics. So where does it useful? So for example, you can just check on comparing figures from the different time periods means you can just go for your in case of companies, you can just go for the sales part from the previous year and the current year, or the gold rate. Gold rate is keep on getting increased, right? So there you can just get a pattern out of it, right? So you can just draw a graph and you can just have that particular analysis, right? So it will give some results. It's keep on getting increased and it might get increased, right? So these are some of the results. That is, whatever is being there inside the data, you should not predict it. You have to put from 10 years. You can even take a 10 years. For the 10 years, what is the actual analysis for the gold price? So this is what we call it as a descriptive analysis, and generating reports of the progress. That is what, once you just do the recording process of whatever has been happening across the years, you'll be just you'll be knowing about the profit or the loss part of that particular thing. So that is what we mean by the progress over time, right? So on that meantime, once you just generate a report, we'll be knowing something about the problems, right? There might be some problems that is also actually hidden inside our data. Not only the profit or the loss, not only the progress or the negative part, we can even find out the actual problem behind our data. Not only the positive or the negative side, the actual problem can also be found inside the data. So as the descriptive analytics states that, it states what is actually happening, whether we are in the rising state or we are in the negative part, positive or negative, whether my results are good or bad when compared to that of the previous year. So this is what it means, right? Whether the school performance is good when comparing with that of the previous year. So this is whatever is being with you, based on that particular data, you're going to analyze and tell what is your actual status. So this is all about the descriptive analysis. What happened? That's it. It's a basic thing. And diagnostic analytics, as the name suggests, we are going to diagnose some problems from that particular reports we have generated from the descriptive analytics, right? So descriptive analytics, you are just driven a report. You have the graph, you have everything, you know what is your result is, whether it is positive or negative, right? Now you have to analyze why the things happen. For example, if my marks is low, my marks keep on decreasing in the current semesters. In that sense, I have to find out which is the point, where does I lag, right? So that is what we mean by diagnostic analytics. It can be stated in this part also. For example, a patient has a medical problem or something like that. So what will the doctor does? Whenever he approaches a doctor, they'll just give for some test reports, right? So they'll just ask for all the tests, and from the test they'll be diagnosing this is a problem, right? So this is something like that. Okay, so what is the actual reasons behind the progress or the reports? That is what we mean by diagnostic, why the things happen like this. So this is what. So it is a part, we just analyze, we just get the results only from the descriptive analytics. That will be the input for this particular analytics, and then we will be getting the output. They take the findings from the descriptive analytics and dig deeper to find the cause, right? So, and the performance indicators are further investigated to discover why they got better or worse. So that is what we call it as diagnosing, right? So if a problem exists, then that will be covered in case of diagnostic analysis. Predictive analytics. What will happen? Okay, if the situation is going on like this, what is going to happen? I'm going to predict the future. So this is what we call it as predictive analytics. So it considers the past data and it will just forecast what will happen in the future, right? So here the system will not act as it is, right? So here, because the humans will make mistakes even in the current scenarios, right? So we cannot just. So here what happens, we will be implementing many machine learning algorithms to implement this particular analytics, right? So for example, you can just go for this weather forecasting or a smart car or any kinds of automation system, right? We'll just look into it later. First of all, that is, you're going to predict, as I've already given an example, gold price will be keep on increasing, and then using a machine learning model that will tell whether it will be still increasing or till what level it will be increasing, and if it goes on like this, what will be the condition at the next part. So this is what. So in order to avoid that, I'll be just taking the action. So this is what it considers. They seems to sense things and provide ample warning before they happen. For example, this case might be related with any other things, right? So we can just take a logistics part. Okay, I'm going to just send some products in a truck from one part to the other part, right? So you might overcome many problems in that particular part, right? So I'll be using the predictive analysis. I'm just telling, okay, there might be a traffic flow in the way from timings this to this, so you have to choose something else. So I'll be predicting, from the timings there will be some traffic in the particular part. So what I have to do, I have to change the particular destination. So I'm going to predict the traffic in that particular area from this timing to this timing. So this is what we call it as a predictive analytics. So where we will be just going for all these things is forecasting how much inventory. Yeah, this is said to be a good example. That is, we were all interested in the shopping side, right? In summer and all, we'll be just going for the shop and then we'll be doing the shopping, right? So let's take it in the terms of traditional, right? Based on the customer interest, what they'll do is during the vacation, they'll just do something like promotional offers and all, right? The same goes on with this predictive analytics also. The online shopping site, they'll be just predicting, okay, how many customers will be using it. So what I have to restock it, the inventory. Based on the prediction, I'll be restocking my inventory. So this is what it is. And predicting, whenever we just manufacture a product or whenever we just manufacture any kind of product or we release a new kind of product, we have to predict how come the customer prefer that particular product. So this is also comes under the kind of prediction, right? So on what basis, what type of customer will be preferring that particular product. So this is what it is. For example, I'm going to introduce a hair oil to the particular market, right? So I need to find how will be the result, right? So this is all about the prediction. And then automating the follow-up emails with the customer segments, right? What do you say? You'll be just having this automation procedures, right? So, okay, for this kind of email, you'll be having this particular reply, and those all comes under this predictive analytics. It's nothing but forecasting. For forecasting what's going to happen. So based on that, we'll just take an action so that our business might reduce risk. So that is the main part of this predictive. Prescriptive analytics. What should be done? So it's something like a prescription. I'm not feeling well. I'm going to a doctor. They are diagnosing some disease or something, and then they're just telling, okay, you have to follow these prescription in order to avoid these things. So that is what it is, prescriptive. So I have predicted some danger. So I have to follow these particular thing in order to avoid this particular predicted danger. So the actions implemented is a part of this prescriptive analytics, right? So it is said to be the best course of action for a given situation, right? I'm predicted something like a warning or a risk. So I have to overcome that particular warning which comes in the future. For example, it can be like training the employees. Everything comes under the action based on the prediction. Okay, so I'll be just able to train my employees based on the prediction part, or I'll be recruiting some new employees in my companies based on the prediction of the IT. What do you say? I'll be predicting that I might get some new jobs in the current year or something like that. So what I'll do is, as a prescriptive analytics part, I'll be recruiting some of the new employees in order to be ready for that particular thing, right? So this is what it is, prescriptive analytics. So I access which of the two decisions may yield financially safer outcome. That is, everything, whatever we do is in order to have a profitable income. That is the main part of everything. So this is what it is. Now, this is an example scenario where we are just categorizing into this different 4 analytics, right? Example is said to be in a healthcare. Suddenly what happens in a particular week, there is a lot of incoming patients and admitted into the emergency room, right? In a short period of time, right? So I have to finalize. So first we'll just find out the descriptive analytics. Descriptive analytics is we'll be just finding their data, we'll be just having their data, and then we are going to perform some statistics out of that particular data. For example, what are the incoming patients in that particular date, and how many of them have admitted in that particular emergency room, and what are the details, what is the age or something like that, what is the main problematic conditions, right? Diagnostic analytics in that sense is based on their conditions. They have a fever, they have a dry cough, they have weakness all over, right? So I'll be diagnosing that it has okay, it can be a viral disease or something like that. So this is said to be diagnosed analytics, right? Diagnostic analytics. I have predicted. It's not a predicted. I have diagnosed it as a viral disease, right? So this is what the result is. This is what we just do with the data, corresponding patients' data who have been admitted in the emergency room. Not other than this, we do not do any kind of other things, right? Predictive analytics. Okay, we have the data. Okay, so from the previous week, I have an prediction that okay, I might have an increase in the number of patients in the next following week. So this is what predictive analytics. Okay, so what happens is what I'm going to do. I'm just getting a warning that I might have an increased number of patients in the following week. So what will I do? What can be done for that particular thing? So prescriptive analytics is I'll increase the number of staffs for handling in that emergency room. So this is a kind of example which will categorize into that particular descriptive analytics, diagnostic, predictive, and prescriptive. Okay, next we'll just look into that applications. Where do we come across this data analytics actually? This first example is we can just take a Google map, I guess. Google map, yes. So in case if I want to travel from one place to the other place, in case, for example, I have to travel from Tambaram to Nungambakam or something like that, right? So Tambaram to Velachery, whatever it is. Okay, so when I just put the source as Tambaram and destination as Velachery or something like that, the Google map, what does it do? It doesn't only show the route and then it will not stop. Okay, it will just predict. Okay, where the traffic will be, at what time it will be, so which is said to be the best route out of the two routes, right? It does take the decision out of it actually. So based on the data collected, it will just predict the traffic free route so that the user will be able to reach the destination earlier than the specific time. So this is what it means. That is application of data analytics. So this is the predictive method of the analysis helps the transport problems like traffic or any network problems or something like that. Okay, it helps synchronize the vast amount of data and uses them to build and design plans to find that alternative routes, reduce congestions and traffics, which in turn reduces the number of accidents and mishappenings. So this is what it is. So it just suggest me to travel in a traffic free route. That is the main example, and I think everyone would have been experienced it. Next one is web search. Yes, web search. Without this, we cannot exist nowadays, right? So Google search is said to be the main example for this particular data analytics because Google server has a lot of data stored in it, right? So in case if I want to get something, right, I have to just know something about your college, or I want to just know about something about the course. What happens? It will just display all the courses that is related with that particular data, right? I'll just give a demo so that you'll just understand. Okay, it will be best in case if it is explained with the concept of image, right? So based on that particular keyword, the related piece of information will be identified, and then it will be easier to understand. Why does it come under the analytics? The concept is based on the way we ask question, right? For example, classic car sale is different from how to buy a classic car, right? So based on the questions we just generate, the system will understand and then finds the solution. Even though classic car sales, classic car is going to be the keyword mentioned in that particular thing, it just analyzes based on the questions that the customer asks. Okay, he's asking this question, so it should be related to that particular thing. So that is what we call it as a decision making. So web search, healthcare. So they just gather, as I've already predicted, we have given an example, right? So using the healthcare, you can just get the patient data. Using the test result, we'll be diagnosing the result, and then we'll be predicting these are the chances. So you have to be careful, and then you have to follow the prescription or the treatment given by the doctor. So this is the best example of the healthcare. Okay. Next one is tools to work. Okay, let me give a demo first of all. Google search engine, right? So, okay. So I have something called data science in my search engine, right? So I'm going to search the images part, right? Okay, I'm going to just click this particular thing. This is a concept or this is an example for data analytics part, right? Without any knowledge, I'm going to choose this thing. See what happens. See the search results. Everything is being displayed in terms of tables. I didn't give any specification that I need only the table related images. Based on my image content, it by itself analyzes, okay, the user is been preferring to this table kind of structure. So this is an example for data analytics because all these things are stored in the web server. I'm not asking for any specification. I'm just giving only data science. Okay, I'm just giving data analytics. Okay, let it be the next example. I'm going to click some circle. Okay, this one, right? So this is what somewhat different, right? So you can just go to the recommendation it offers. See, everything in terms of process. See this one. It analyzes that the user prefers this kind of structure. So it just lists out the recommendations, something like this. Okay, I'll just change it to data analytics. Okay, I'm going to choose this particular graph part, right? See, look at the recommendation I'm getting. So this is all about the data analytics. Based on the data I'm viewing, it will just gather the particular thing and will recommend the similar kind of data. So this is all about this. So that's a particular demo I would just to give. Okay, next one is tools to work. Similarly, I can also just give an example, something like if you're preferring to read some online stories or online books, in that sense is I'll just recommend the books of the same author. That is also comes under the data analytics, right? If I'm going to read some books of data science, then what happens? Of that particular author, in the system will check whether according to the analytics part, the system will check whether they have the same author book on the topic data science. If not, whether they have whatever they have on that particular specification of that particular author, that will be mentioned in the recommendation part. So this is a concept of data analytics. That is, they have the data. From the particular data, they are just deciding. That is, if I'm just viewing some particular part of data, or I'm going to read some part of data, or I'm going to view some image, or I'm going to view something, right? So what happens on the analysis, based on the analysis, they just recommend all the related features of that particular data. So this is what it means, data analytics. In case if they're going to try only with the data that exists with them, that is a part of data analytics. So we are going to just discuss about some of the tools. R programming is the best known tool in order to work with this particular data analytics. It's not limited to the data analytics part, but since it's very much useful in the part of the statistical analysis and all the it's very much useful in case if the user is well versed in the programming language, right? So it is said to be the best tool that has been used in part of both data analytics and the data science part. So it is an open source programming language and computing environment with focus on statistics and graphical data visualization. Here data visualization is something like whatever we just view, the data is visualized in terms of graphs. Okay, graph is said to be the best part of the visualization. How do you summarize the content? You'll just show the progress in terms of diagrams, right? So that it will be easier for understanding. That part is called data visualization. Almost nearly all the tools will be very well versed with the data visualization. That is the main part of this particular analytics stage because you're going to do some process. Only the visualization will tell what is the actual process that has been happening because none of them is going to see the actual inside process, right? So they don't care about how do you just generate all those things. Only the result part is expected by everyone. So the data visualization plays. How do you predict the graph? How do you just show the progress or how do you just show the patterns? That is what the main important feature of this data visualization. So it is said to be a best tool out of this 15,000 open source packages available, and it is specially meant for manipulating, modeling, and visualizing data. Here, the modeling refers to how do we just bring the relationship between the variables. That is what modeling, right? So manipulating in the sense, I think all these things will be discussed in the later part, but in order to have a clear understanding, manipulating is something, manipulating, modeling, all these things related with how do you just bring the relationship between the data that exist in the table. I can have lot of data, but it is not necessary that everything should be important to me, isn't it? Okay, so based on my problem, I'll be taking relevant data and I'll be ignoring some other data, right? So that is what. So manipulating and modeling in the sense which one is important, how do they relate with each other. So it talks about the relationship among the data and how do you visualize the data. So it allows a technical analyst with the programming skills to build almost any type of data analysis, but users without the programming skill should look for something else, right? So R programming is suitable only for those who are very well versed with this R programming. Next one is Tableau. This Tableau is something like, and again, it's something like a tool which is very well versed used in the analytics platform. It is used to create the reports. It is used to, it not only it is works in the system, it even works in the mobile platform, or you can just transfer the reports and to any part of the on-site or the off-site to the customer. Okay, so this Tableau will be something similar to this. It's something like an IDE, integrated environment. You have a platform where you can just work with all those specifications, right? It is helpful in all the statistical arrangements and analytic part. Next one is Python. Python is again a programming language. Here Tableau is nothing but it's not a programming language. Once again, it's not a programming language. It's something like an Excel part, right? It's an Excel part. Excel, we have something similar to an Excel. So Python is again it's programming languages which works with the IDE again, something similar to R programming, something similar. It's an object-oriented programming. It's again an open source tool. So R programming and Python is found to be the most used tool that comes under the data analytics or the data science. It's used in both the concepts, data analytic or the data science. So its part is very much used in machine learning, data visualization, right? So this it's just easy to write, read, maintain. It's again an open source tool. So it has more than 200,000 available packages. So it's easy to learn. So Python. SAS is something similar to Tableau or Excel, whatever we just So it's something like a platform where you can just get the data from any sources and then you can just implement it from the do the analysis part, right? So it's something like it's not an economic one. It's said to be a costlier one. SAS features are good in marketing analytics, and it is widely used around the business side, right? It is so you. Next one is Excel. So without this, we cannot do anything, right? Excel is the main part, right? So it is also a tool that is used in the data analytics part, but when compared to the other part of the tools, the analytics terms, a complex task were not highly implemented in Excel, but still you have something called toolpath of Excel. You have some specifications, additional add-on in Excel in order to do some complex data analysis part. It's an add-on that has to be added to the Excel. So apart from that, you will be using Excel for all the basic analytics part. So this demo has been given already. So browsing an image in a Google will list the other images with some same characteristics and similar structure, even though they just user don't prefer. So data science. So we are clear about the data analytics part, right? Now the next main component is data science. What is data science? Data analytics is a part of data science. So far we have known about a small process. Now that small process is a part of this big process. There's something like a big circle which includes the data analytics part, right? So data analytics does not begin in the starting stage or does not end with the ending stage of the data science. It's said to be an intermediate part of this data science. So data analytics is a part of this. That is an important concept. We'll just go for all those things. So why do we need data science? First of all, we have analytics part. We know how to analyze from the data. We know to tell the progress, or we know to find the patterns, everything we know. Then why do we know for data science? The main reason is, so still now we were describing only about the data that exists, that is the correct data or the pakka data we used to call, right? So everything has been ready. You have to come and work. That's it. But data science works with raw data. Raw data means the data that is not ready, or the unstructured data. Unstructured data here refers to the data analytics works with the structured data. That is, everything has been ready. Unstructured data is data can be from any other, can be an irrelevant data, everything. It can be an image, it can be a document, anything is said to be a data, right? So this is said to be an unstructured data. It's not no proper format. That is what we call it as unstructured data. So from that particular data, how we are going to filter the unnecessary parts, and then how we are going to define your solution for that particular business. So this is what. But once you just go for this data analytics, you have a what do you say? You don't have any specific whatever they are just telling you, you have to follow. Here in data science, you're going to find something new. You're going to discover something new. You're going to find a problem by yourself. You have data. From that particular data, you're going to discover the problem by yourself, and after finding the problem, you will be designing a solution of that particular data using all the steps of the data science. So this is all about the data science. So that's why I said data analytics is the middle part of this data science. So structured data, and how do you get store this particular data storage, and how do we do the predictive analysis, and lack of scientific insights in the senses, how do we apply a model in that particular prescriptive knowledge. So that is what we mean by lack of scientific insights. Here, when we just discuss something in detail, the out of the 4 types of analytics, the first 2 comes under the proper data analytics, and the other 2, prescriptive and the predictive analytics, usually comes under the concept of data science. But it is a part of analytics. That's why I just mentioned all the 4 types in the data analytics. But when you just go for it, the main first 2 will be a part of straight conduct of this data analytics, but the other 2 is something like a vice versa. It comes under the analytics and it comes under the data science. But the complex part is the data science. So this is what it is. So how do you going to gather the data? How you are going to filter the data? How we are going to clean the data? It's not like something like somebody is giving a data. I'm going to collect the data. I have a lot of relevant data. I need to first filter the data first of all. I have to. It's not something like I can even have false data. How do I rectify it? How do I fill the missing values? So everything is a process that comes under this data science. It's something from a scratch to the model. That is how we are going to implement the solution. Here we are going to find the problem by ourselves by using the data. So that is the main part of this data science. So why do we need, and where do we? This is some of the suggestions. Where do we just come across this? Recommend the right product to the right customer to enhance business. Based on the points, you can just assume that it's somewhat related with analytics, but it's not actually related with analytics. If you just look into it deeper, this will differ. For example, I have shown a demo which will show the table part. If I just click the table part, it will just list the other table parts, isn't it? Here, in case, for example, I'm going to watch a movie, right? In case if I'm going to watch a movie using any other site or something like that, the data under the data science part, it will just observe the characteristics of the user. First of all, what do I like? What do I just view? What do I suggest, or what are the other things I just do? It just gather the data by themselves, and then it just compares with the other user. Okay, in case if it prefers it just compares with the other user. If both the users said to be resembling the same thing, right? For example, you have some points or something like that. If both the user are assembling the same thing, the data science, under the data science concept, the system will suggest the movie which is preferred by the other user, because it just finds that the characteristics of the two users are, even though both are said to be different, according to it, if the characteristics of the user is going to be the same thing according to the system, it will suggest the first user the movie is watched by the second user based on the interest of the user. So this is what data science. Under data analytics, how does it view in that senses? For example, if I'm going to watch a movie on that particular director, according to data analytics, I'll be getting the other movies directed by the director. Okay, I'm not getting the other user movies and all. In case if I'm going to watch a Maniratnam movie, or if I'm going to watch something else, or Hollywood movie or something like that, according to data analytics, I'll be just getting a list of recommended movies. In the recommended movies, I'll be getting a list of the movies directed by the particular director. That is analytics part. Or the music director. It can be of any type. Same director or the music director. It can be, it just goes on with that particular data existing. Here, data science, it will gather my data, it will just compare with the other user. If it finds both the characteristics are similar, then I'll be recommended a new movie which the other user has recently watched. So this is a main, both the things are relatively equal, but if we need to just look into it deeply, we can find some sort of difference in among these things. So it is nothing but a right product to the right customer to enhance business, and then build ability and intelligence in machines. So here we can just come across the smart cars or the IoT. All these things are part of this particular things. That is, if the system is able to take the decision by itself based on the data it's getting collected. So that is the use of data science. And then predict fraudulent transactions beforehand. I hope everyone would have watched this particular advertisement, right? So in case if we make any transactions in Google Pay or something like that, the system will suggest, in case I just doubt whether it is a fraud transaction or something sort of, it just gives a warning. So all these things are a technique of data science, because they just gather the data. All the fraud transactions will be, because based on the account number or based on the transaction they just perform, they just gather the data among themselves, and the system decides whether this can. So they just gives us a warning. Okay, so on the basis of warning, we can just find out what is actually happening, whether we can continue or we can ignore. That's up to our part. But the system tells us something. Okay, this seems to be an illegal or something like that. It just suggests a warning. So that is what it is. Predict the fraudulent transactions beforehand, and then perform sentiment analysis to predict the outcome of elections. For example, that the system by itself will decide and just give some suggestions. Okay, this can be referred. All these things as a part of the data science. And then again, health status, right? For example, we used to have this watches, right, nowadays. So which is helpful in tracking our heartbeat. So it will just tell, okay, everything is normal. In case of any emergency, there is a point of alarm inside the watch, or there can be notification to any other related people, right? So that is, these are all the things that are part of this data science. That is, they gather the data from the machines. It can be even sensors, right? You can have something like fire or that can be gathered, and based on that, the notification will be moved to that particular fire personnel. So all these things as a part of a data science, right? So according to the definition, all right, so it is nothing but a multidisciplinary field. It's not only for computers. It is not only for maths. It is not only for statistics, right? It is nothing but a multidisciplinary field that uses scientific methods, process, algorithms, and systems, right? Why do we need all these things? Because I need those things to extract something from the unstructured or the structure, whatever I have from my thing, right? Whatever I gather, I'm going to extract something from that particular thing. So for doing that, I cannot rely on only one technique or technology. I need to know all these things, not statistics alone, not the max alone, not the machine learning algorithms alone. Everything I need to be well versed in that particular data science, right? So that is what the second point states. It is a concept to unify the statistics, data analysis, machine learning, and the related methods in order to understand and analyze the actual phenomena, right? So it is used in making the decisions and predictions, the complex part, decisions and predictions. So this is nothing but the life cycle of the data science. So first one is business understanding. That is, once I get the data or once I can just know the flow of data, I need to find the problem first of all, because here whatever we are going to do is something new. Okay, they don't have anything in existence. We are going to find something new. That is what business understanding. If you want to perform a good business, you need to understand about that particular business. So here business is something like you're going to find a solution. Solution for what? A problem. Where is the problem? You're going to find the problem. So that is what you mean by business understanding. And data collection. You find the problem, you're going to find a solution. For that, you're going to collect the data, right? Where you're going to collect the data, how you're going to collect the data, what kind of data you're going to collect. Everything is a part of this data collection. Data is being collected, everything is ready, but it is not correct data. That is, it is not a consistent data. I have many false values, I have incomplete data. So all these things should be rectified. I hope everyone would have heard something like normalization in data, right? So normalization in that sense is I would be having some data. So the repeated data will be eliminated out of this normalization. That is something like unwanted data or the repeated data that has been occurring for more than one time or more than two times, that will be eliminated from the particular data, which will not affect the original content of that particular data. So all these things are done in a part of data preparation, right? That is, all the false values will be eliminated, incomplete data will be fixed, and the duplicate data will be removed, and then you will be getting a structured data. So this is what we call it as data preparation, right? So you will be preparing the data. And exploratory data analysis. So this is where you just do this descriptive analysis. That is what we call it as exploratory data. What is descriptive analysis? I'll be predicting something out of the data, isn't it? I'll be predicting a pattern. I'll be predicting some progress. I'll be just drawing a graph, or I'll be just finding out something that is happening from the data. That is what we call it as exploratory data analysis. So from this part, from exploratory data analysis to modeling and model evaluation and model, this is a part of this data analytics, right? Exploratory is something like a descriptive analytics. Modeling, what is modeling in that sense is, for example, I find the descriptive, what I'm going to design, something, it's a part of this diagnostic analysis, right? I'll be finding something out of it, right? So it's something like modeling, model evaluation. I'll be choosing the particular machine learning model in order to apply to that particular data, and then I'm going to find a solution to the problem, right? So that is what model evaluation, choosing the accurate machine learning. I have a problem, right? I need to choose something which is somewhat suitable to my problem. That is, I have a lot of machine learning algorithms, but not everything is said to be suitable. I have to find a suitable algorithm so that it'll just take place in my data and I'll get the appropriate solution. So that is what tend to be model evaluation. And model deployment is, how do you just deploy means how do you just take the action. Okay, we can just design a system, we can just do everything, but the customer must be satisfied at the end, right? If the customer is not satisfied or if the output is not okay, we might not get the accurate results. What we want is profit, right? We need a success part. If we need a success part, even though we get an actual somewhat similar kind of things, if the customer is not satisfied, that is not a good solution, right? So that is what we mean by model deployment. How do you satisfy the customer, and how do you just deploy the models that is being predicted or that is being found in the model evaluation, right? So first part is business understanding, right? Here, this is what said to be the most basic step in the data science. You have to find a problem. So correct solution to the problem involves a correct understanding of the problem, right? So this based on this particular thing, we'll be finding whether we can get a profit, or we can just reduce the cost, because we are going to find a problem by ourselves, right? So how your problem must resemble in that sense is the final product is said to be a benefiting to the organizations, right? I cannot just simply say some statement and I can sleep, right? You need to bring something to the environment or the society. It must give some advantage at the end point. That is what we call it as the business, actual business thing, right? So the model should be an added value for business to create a new profits or reduce costs. It must actually, you must just do something advantage to the either society, or you must bring something to the system you're just doing. For example, if it is going to be an organization, in that sense, it must benefit the organization in some part. Okay, it's not something like we'll be just delivering. No, this cannot be done. No, that cannot be. You have to bring the solution in such a way that it affects the organization or it affects the society. So that must be a useful one. That is what it's meant by added value for business. It must result some profit, or it must result some something like reducing cost or something like that. Data collection, right? First thing is after the business understanding, you have found the problem. Okay, everything is ready. Now we are going to gather the data. So it's nothing but a gathering and measuring the information on variables of interest in established systematic fashion that enables one to answer data. It can be of anything. As we all know, data can be gathered in any terms. We can just take interviews. We can just have this surveys. Form for filling. We used to get something right for form, right? Google Forms stating all the things. Will be just giving all the inputs, right, based on our suggestions. Form, for taking surveys, we used to have the Google Forms, right? So that can be even that is called as an input, right? So all these things is a part of this data collection. Okay, so it can be anything. It can be an internal or external resources. External sources in that sense is you can just get the data from any social networking sites or any collected. For example, they used to collect the data for census, right? So that can be taken. Any sorts of data can be taken. So that whatever information you handle, that is a part of this data collection, right? Next one is data preparation, right? Data preparation is the main part for dealing with that particular data, and it's nothing but collecting, cleaning, and consolidating the data into one file or data table, primarily for use and analysis. That is, okay, I think it's time I need to go quickly. So what is the actual thing is, as I've already told you, I have a data with me. I have to find out the problems first. What are the error data or the incorrect data, and then I have to produce a top quality data. So how do we fix the error data in the senses? I'll be doing this data cleaning. Okay, I'll be just finding the unmatched data, and I'll be removing from the original source. What is the unmatched data in the senses? You have to make sure, if you're going to remove the data, that should not affect the other sources. Okay, or else it should not. Once you delete the data, sometimes if it is going to be difficult or something like that, then that is also a problematic one. So you need to find the error data, and you have to analyze it, right? And then produce the top quality data in the census after you just do all the removing all the cleaning part or the reformatting everything, right? You have removed all the unnecessary parts. Your data is said to be a high quality in the census. All the data will be a related one, and everything is said to be a correct data. So there is no irrelevant data. So that kind of data is going to be the top quality data. Okay, and then based on that particular data, you can just make sure that your result is going to be an efficient one. So that is what it means by data preparation. Exploratory data analysis is nothing but you have to find the patterns, what we have seen in descriptive data analysis, right? So that is what it is. And modeling is nothing but producing a descriptive diagram of relationships between various types of informations that are stored in the database. That is, it's something like visual representation. visual representation of that particular, sorry. It's nothing but a visual representation of your data. That is, you have found something in the discrete data analytics, right? So that will be modeled, represented in the visualization process. That is, you will be representing the relationship between the each and every variables. So that is what we call it as the